For 15 long years, this man experienced constant discomfort, meaning he practically always thought about his toenails and not only. By the way, about the big ones. Because on all the other 4 fingers, we also see the traces of his actions, practically crimes against himself. Because, as he said, the only way to get relief, unfortunately, was through pain. That is, he himself, over the course of 15 years of his life, constantly pulled out, cut out, plucked out, gnawed out. Well, in general, here's the blood that's clotted. And only in this way did he get at least some temporary relief. Well, to me, this is just a nightmare, to be honest. That is, I'm afraid to imagine, well, in reality, what people who have been in such a situation for so many years are experiencing, which seems absolutely hopeless to them. Well, it's like a dead end because it's a cycle as if there's no way out. But circumstances turned out so well that his wife visited our salon and told about me because she is also my subscriber. So he came and I started explaining to him where, for example, his nail should be, what the width of his sinuses is, for example, and how it differs closer to the free edge. He tells us that the nail is very tightly twisted. It is really so. Today we will be digging with you. We will extract this nail from there, from the depths, from the boulders. Firstly, to make him feel better right away, right today, after the procedure. But of course, you have to understand that if a person has been going towards this result for many years, which you see now, then it will also take a long way back, not just one procedure. It's difficult to say precisely how much, but regardless, you must begin working. And the first thing I decided to deal with was the excessive thickness of the nail plate. It often happens that curled nails, whether in a circle, a semicircle, or whatever you call it, such nails are very thick. This is a problem because it's impossible to trim, and such thickness causes even more curling, or vice versa. In general, one is connected with the other, and the first thing that needs to be done is to remove the thickness of the nail plate. Of course, you don't need to remove it completely to zero, but it is necessary to weaken this tension. For this, I used a hard alloy cutter, really very coarse. And now I have already moved on to processing the side walls and side rollers. Because it's clear that inside everything is very dense, a lot of dry old skin, and all this is as if it were packed, like how mom used to tuck in your clothes as a child to keep you warm. It's roughly the same there, but from this disc, a person does not gain comfort. So in the end, during the cleaning process, there will be many moments where it will be clearly visible that the nails are as if filled in there. Now I am using nippers, cutting straight off, removing the length of the free edge. Is this possible? I plan to fit the walls. Nothing is working out so far. Now I'm trying to get under the cuticle. I've already filed down the thickness, but I still see that the nail is thick enough for now, but it's important not to overdo it and not file the entire nail. As promised, everything will be kept under control and under wraps there. That is, it twists around its entire contour, and here it is. In this frame, it's clearly visible that the girl is rare. We slightly adjust the nail plate, but essentially this is what the correction system should do for us. It should pull our nail and bring it back to its original or close to original form. That is, the distance from the right to the left sinus should be equal to the distance from the right and left corner to the free edge. I use aids such as, for example, a brush from Domix. It's a very simple tool. It slightly softens the skin and cleaning becomes easier, and of course it naturally cleans it. Not without this. This is also an important point. I continue to work with the cuticle pusher. I do this slowly, I don't rush, because I understand that the person has really suffered because of me. I am often asked about anesthesia, which I of course never do. The most I can use is a lidocaine spray. And even then, it's when I understand that the client is very scared, because for the most part, this lidocaine will absolutely not work there. A placebo is already used to calm patients down. My primary concern is preventing anyone from getting nervous in the chair, as one nervous person is enough for me. Because despite everything seeming so easy, everything working out, of course, I experience stress during work. Every case is unique. Here, for example, look at how skillfully he carved all this out and hollowed it out, that there are essentially no walls left. Well, there is some skin that has been scraped off and pushed into the corner, and there are no walls left. And at this moment it became clear that it doesn't even smell here today with the hooks. It would have been nice, of course, but there will be no hooks today. There will be a titanium thread. That's why it's a bit later. There was also a separate issue with the machine. As long as there is a task, delicately, despite the fact that it doesn't look like a delicate cleaning, but believe me, I tried to clean it as accurately as possible, what is subject to cleaning, but not to rummage through it. Because if you dig a pit and arrange archaeological excavations in full growth, ultimately this will lead to traumatized skin that will worsen when we actually need to relieve the tension. Everything should be cleaned very gently so that it immediately becomes easier for him, so that it lets him go. I have now moved on to diamond cutters, but I take a blue one. This is a rough enough notch, only the green one will be rougher than the blue one. What am I doing? Basically, I follow the same trajectory as the safety cutter carved out. Well, now I need to carefully buff the skin. I try not to cut through the wall itself because I understand that it is under stress. It's already all broken, it's practically not there, and of course I should not traumatize it anymore under any circumstances. That's why I carefully, with my big finger of my left hand, the one I'm bending the roller with, I pull it back as much as possible. During courses, I emphasize the importance of holding the client's finger very tightly. I explain that the grip should be firm enough to prevent the client from falling off a stool, chair, or pedicure station should such an incident occur. The finger to stay in the same place where you held it, that is, with you, in your hands. This is important in practice because sometimes a client can jerk from tickling, from some unpleasant feeling, not to mention that they can also be there. But compared to what a person with grown nails experiences, this is, of course, nonsense. Or, for example, they might sneeze, God forbid, or get distracted looking at something on their phone. In general, this is important because if at this moment I have a sharp tool in my hands, like some kind of sharp cutter, but you understand, in any case, the master will be to blame. Yes, they are clients, then you won't be able to prove anything to anyone, so you have to hold on as much as possible, as tightly as possible. In general, I have experience here, and there were actually cases when, the client sneezed, for example, while I was drawing a French manicure, and then calmly continued to draw it. But this is training that has been worked out over the years. In general, returning to our nails, I'm still continuing to clean with a cutter, a blue pimple, which, by the way, not only the sides and cuticles. I also walk freely along the edge. At this moment, I realize that I have not removed enough volume from the nail plate, so here I am working a bit more with a hard alloy cutter. I ask if he's starting to feel sensitivity, and it's beginning to appear. This tells us that we have reached the necessary optimal thickness. Now, as you can see, by sliding the probe, I can demonstrate that the nail is becoming mobile, elastic, that is, it moves from me going there with the probe. And now there will be a moment, because I am lifting and seeing that there is a corner there that I could not see before, as much as it is all twisted there. And of course, our task now is to get all of this out. I take pieces specifically showing what they are nippers, and P6 they are for adult nail, for such various manipulations. I wrap the pieces. Unfortunately, I don't have the opportunity to show exactly how I do this because I need a certain angle and I cut out a small piece from there. Now there will be attempt number 2 because I still try to do it carefully so as not to injure the skin. And now I will show you how much this little edge of the nail plate was tucked in there, that is, like a thorn, like a splinter. This is one of the reasons for discomfort. Here is a small piece. Well, in place of this piece we have something like a little hole left, that is, it can be clearly seen. I check if the client is not in pain and continue our work further. Regarding the sprays, you often ask what I use. As a rule, I use antiseptics at some initial stage, and also if necessary I can use something like a liquid bandage from Domix or a spray from PO Diapharm too. As an option, it softens the skin well. That is, any auxiliary liquids that will help to ensure that my cleaning is as comfortable as possible for me and for my client. Now we have moved on to the second leg, and here absolutely all the same manipulations. He has a problem, symmetrical. And while I noticed this with a hard alloy cutter, up to the hip straight blue, well, so I clean everything hard, I do the same thing. I want to tell that this man's problem started a long time ago, and he is actually a big brave man too. He has recently lost a lot of weight very powerfully. I can't quite remember the conversation right now, it was a few weeks ago I think, but he lost something in the range of 15 to 18 kilograms. In general, he's a real big, great guy. If I wrote the wrong number, I know he'll check and correct me, but I can't remember. I'm sorry, he lost weight and it's really cool, it's a really good result, and he continues to take care of his health and appearance. And this is more than praiseworthy, at least, deserving of likes and comments in support of this wonderful man. He's really cool, I'm falling in love, she's thoughtful. Yes, I love working with people so much. When you talk to them, learn something about them, sometimes tell about yourself. Just having a conversation with a good person is always very, very healthy and pleasant. So he lost weight and, of course, decided to take care of his legs. And I want to say what such a condition of the nails is. She is absolutely certain. Including, of course, not only because of this, but still including she's associated with the set of excess weight. Because when we get bigger, when we fill up, of course, the load on the legs becomes more, on the fingers too, and patriotism appears. And of course, there is also fat there. And in general, the volume of the entire foot also increases. That is, it also fills up. And we don't always change our shoes when we gain weight. Well, that is, the weight there wanders back and forth, and those who like to gain and lose weight, like me, know that the sensations in the legs change very much, so this is also very much related. And by the way, I recently met a girl at an event in Yekaterinburg who came up to me and said, "Alina, you once posted a video about a client who gained weight and she has problems with her nails on the map. After your video, I lost that weight. I lost about 15 kilograms, and damn, I just take off my hat to such people. It's amazing. It's very, very commendable because it's a step towards one's health. The question is not just about the legs, but the overall general condition of the body, which is really great." Well, my client, my model, in addition to losing weight, he also shared that his first problems with his nails started when he began playing sports. He was involved in wrestling. Well, I think it's no secret to anyone that in practically any kind of sport, there's always a strain on the legs, on the fingers. I'm specifically referring to girls involved in choreography and ballet, which I recently encountered. I will definitely share this video right in the comments if you are interested, but I continue our cleaning. I think those who like to watch my videos under Tasty Kill, or those who watch them while dozing off, are already having a blast from these cleanings. Because there was just some kind of infinity there which I was pulling out, and it never ended. To those who always write to me about hairy fingers, I just have a question. Why should a man remove hair from his fingers? I honestly do not understand this at all, that absolutely natural hairs do not bother me at all. But all his other fingers bothered me, because while I was filming all this, he came with 2 big fingers. I think I really want to give him a pedicure. I'm saying you would have grown a little something there so that next time you could do a proper clinical treatment, because every finger, absolutely everyone without exception, as you can see, also needs help here. But he recently did a self-treatment. You can tell by the scab and blood on the 2nd finger. And of course, there's not much to work with there yet. But I can say that after I finished filming, I did go over it a bit with the drills just to clean it up. And I took a promise from him that he would come with these nails to the next pedicure. Here I, as promised, leave him a titanium thread. The only nuance is to put the tank under the camera, in the position I shoot. This is utopia. That's why in the end, I spat on this flexible thing and did everything off camera because, well, it was just impossible. My finger is hanging by a thread, I have no grip, and the tank didn't fit in properly at all. That's why I later removed it and properly adjusted it off camera. The only thing I was afraid of was that this very titanium thread might suffer in his shoes. And so very often I get asked why the titanium thread breaks off. The answer to this question is actually very simple. First of all, the nail plate is too thin if it's mobile, if it's moist. This commonly occurs with teens who lose their nails. Also, if there is tight footwear, because the footwear in its pressure will simply disperse the composite balls and they can eventually peel off. The issue is not that you made a mistake, but rather that external factors are having an impact. Our work here is done. I went to do his pedicure with Catarata and you support him in the comments. I'm out for now. Bye bye.